Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm out with yet another crochet tutorial, and this time it's going to be this huge granny square sweater. So this project is going to be perfect for every beginner because it's quite simple, or if you're looking for something easy just to keep you busy, then this is also a perfect project for you. And as always, I have made sure that I'm going into as much detail as I can with every single stitch and every single step to make sure that everyone is able to follow along. However, if you feel like I'm going too fast or too slow, then just feel free to adjust the speed of the video and I'm sure that it will help. But if you have any questions or need some extra help, then just feel free to reach out in the comment section below and I will try to help you from there. But now, without further ado, let's jump into it. Here are the materials that I will be using for this project. Here I have my yarn. In total, I will be using these two colors, and by using this type of yarn I will require 2 rolls, and each of them would have to be 100 grams at least. But of course it depends on the size that you would be creating and also the type of yarn. However, feel free to mix and match different colors or simply use different type of yarn. But here I have some more specs about this yarn just in case if you are interested, and as you can see it requires to use 4mm hook. However, for my creation I will be using 5mm hook, so that's also kind of adjustable if you wish. And besides that, I will also need scissors, but now let's get started. Our first step is to do a magic ring, so for that I'm just grabbing my yarn and tying it around my fingers like this to kind of establish an X shape here, and then I'm just taking my crochet hook and going underneath the first piece of yarn that I have here and grabbing the second piece and then just pulling it up to create a loop on the hook. And then the next step is to chain 3, so I'm yarning over and pulling this yarn through the loop. So this is 1 chain and then just adding 2 more chains, so 2 and 3. So in total we have 3 chains, which in this case counts as 1 double crochet, and we have also created this magic ring. So now we can proceed further with doing our first round, and for that we will basically be doing double crochet stitches as well as some chains in between them. So this already counts as 1 double crochet, so now it's left for us to do 2 more double crochets. So for double crochet you have to yarn over, then go through the magic ring, grab yarn and pull it up to have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over again and pull through remaining 2, like that. So that's 1 double crochet, and now technically we have 2 double crochets. So now it's just left to do another one. So yarning over, going through the magic ring, grabbing yarn and pulling it up to have 3 loops, then yarning over and going through 2, yarning over again and going through remaining 2, like that. So here we have 3 double crochets, and now we can move further with the next step. So for that we just have to chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, like that. So this would be one side of this square, and now we can proceed with the next one. So for the next one we again just have to do 3 double crochets. So I'm just repeating kind of the stitches that we just did and adding 3 double crochets in total. So already creating the second one and then also adding the third one, like this. So this is another one that we have just created, and after that we just have to chain 3 again, like this. So we have now done it 2 times, so now it's just left for us to do it for 2 more times, and then we are done with this first round. So just proceed with doing that. So here I have done the very last 3 double crochet stitches of these 4 in total that we have, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And also it's important to note that all the stitches that you are doing inside the magic ring, all of them have to cover both of these pieces of yarn that we have here. So always make sure that you have this one left hanging, and in case if you want to have more of it, you can just pull it and then you will get more of it. But now I have completed these stitches that I have here, so now it's just left for me to do the final 3 chains, 1, 2 and 3, and now we are done with this first round. So first, before we can actually close it, we just have to tighten this magic ring, and for that you just have to pull this loose end of yarn that you have here like that, and as you're pulling it you can see that your magic circle here is closing and we are establishing a nice square shape. And now we can also connect this round, and for that we will be doing a slip stitch here inside the 3rd chain from the very beginning, which technically counts on doing that on top of the first double crochet that we did. So to do a slip stitch you just have to go through this chain or stitch, then grab yarn and pull it through, and then pull it through the loop that you already had on your hook, like this. So now we have completed this first round and this is how it looks. And now we can proceed further with working on the second round. So without cutting off any yarn, we are right away proceeding with the next one. And our first step here is to do 4 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like this, and this chain of 4 is going to count as 1 double crochet, which will be in this corner as a stitch, and it also counts as 1 chain, which would be in between the stitches that we have from each corner here. And now that we have done this, we can proceed with adding stitches inside this corner, and in there we just have to do 3 double crochets. So right away I'm proceeding with doing stitches inside there and doing 3 double crochets like this. So this is half of the corner that we have here, and after that we again just have to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3 like this, and then right away we are adding 3 more double crochets inside this very same space that we have here. So already doing the second one and then also the third one like this. So now we have completed this corner that we have here, and after that we just have to chain 1 and then we can proceed with the next corner in here. So again in there we are just repeating the same thing, and first we are adding 3 double crochet stitches inside this space like that. After that we just have to chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and then we are adding 3 more double crochet stitches inside this very same space that we have here, and with that we will complete this corner in here like that. And then to proceed with the next one we just have to chain 1, and then we are doing again the same thing also in the following corner, which in this case is the 3rd corner that we are already working on. So just proceed with doing that, and then I will meet you in the last corner so we can also finalize that together. So here I'm already proceeding with the very last corner, and first we are starting by doing 3 double crochet stitches inside this very same space. So already working on the 3rd one like this. So now we have finalized half of this corner, and then we are again chaining 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and now it's left for us to do 3 stitches in total in here again. But remember that we already have this chain of 4 that we did in the very beginning, and it counts as 1 double crochet. So actually in here we just have to do 2 double crochets. So I'm just adding 1 and then also the second one like this. So now we have also finalized this 4th corner that we have here, and now it's just left for us to connect this round. So to do that we just have to do a slip stitch here in the 3rd chain that we did in the very beginning. So again I'm just going through this chain in here and doing a slip stitch in the same way as we did before like that. So now this second round is also finalized. So now we can proceed working with the 3rd round, and to get started we first have to do a slip stitch here inside this space that we have here. So I'm just going through and doing a slip stitch in there. So in this way we are kind of moving to this part where we will be doing stitches in here. And starting from round 3, we are starting to establish more spaces for stitches. So besides doing stitches in the corners, we also have these middle parts for like kind of like the sides of this square. So with every single round you will be getting more of those, so just remember. But basically this is the process that you have for switching in between rounds and getting started. So for this one we are moving with the slip stitch in between the corner stitches that we had here. And now to begin working on the third round, we first just have to chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and this counts as 1 double crochet. And then in the same space we are just adding 2 more double crochets, so in total we would have 3 technically, like that. And once that's done, we are just chaining 1, and then we can move further with the next space, which in this case is this corner. And again, the process for corners stays basically the same. We just have to do 3 double crochets, and once that's done we are just chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then we are adding another 3 double crochet stitches inside the very same space, so this corner is finalized, like that. And then again it's the same thing, we are just chaining 1 and doing 3 double crochet stitches inside this middle part of this edge. So basically this is all that you have to do to finalize the third round. And remember, after every 3 stitches that you do, unless it's a corner, you just have to chain 1 in between. So basically now just continue doing this to go all the way around, and I will meet you once we are finalizing and connecting this round. Here I have completed all stitches for the third round, and now it's just left for us to finalize and connect. And before that I'm just chaining 1, and then we have to connect this round by doing a slip stitch here inside the third chain from the very beginning. So I'm just going through that one and doing a slip stitch in there like this. And now we are done with round 3, and also after round 3 or after every 3 rounds I will be switching colors. So now basically I just have to fasten off, and for that I'm just chaining 1, then making this loop a little bit longer, then grabbing my scissors and cutting off yarn, and as it's cut off I'm just tightening it in a secure knot by pulling this loose end that I have here, like that. So now we have finalized 3 rounds and we are ready to switch colors. So to attach a new color I'm just grabbing this yarn, and then I will be attaching it in a random spot in between the 3 double crochet stitches that we have from the previous round. So let's go through this one. So in there I'm just grabbing this yarn and looping it through, and then to attach it I'm just making a secure knot to make sure that it's not going to unravel or untie, like that. And then I'm just tightening to make sure that it sticks there, and then we can just proceed further with the following round, which in my case is round 4. So for that I'm just grabbing this yarn and pulling it up as a loop, and then our next step is to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which counts as 1 double crochet, and then we are just repeating the stitches or steps that we had during the previous round. So starting with 3 double crochet stitches, chaining 1 after 3 stitches as we do them, and then just proceeding with doing 3 double crochets inside every gap that we have from the previous round. And after that again chaining just 1, and then once you reach the corner you just do the stitches that are intended for the corners. So first you're doing 3 double crochets, then chaining 3 and doing 3 more double crochets inside the same space. So now all you have to do is basically just repeat these steps and add more rounds as you go. Feel free to switch in between colors whenever you wish, and just proceed with doing more rounds basically to create the size that you are going for. And the goal is to basically create a huge square that would cover your front and would reach from one shoulder to another to make sure that it's going to actually fit you. So here I have already created one square and I'm just trying it on to make sure that it fits me. But after this, all you have to do is just create 4 of these squares in total and just make sure that all of them are in an equal size. And now we can proceed with the next step, which would be to connect these squares together to actually create our final creation for this project. So to proceed with that, I tend to just lay out these squares on the floor to understand better what goes where and where we should be starting. So here you can see these 2 panels for front and back. So for those, we would have to connect each of them with the shoulder parts. So here I'm just showing those, and then on the sides, exactly in the middle, I have placed arm panels. So we would have to make sure that we are connecting and placing them exactly in the middle of front and back panels. So make sure to kind of mark the middle point of the arm panel, and then we would proceed with connecting them in there. So on both sides you would have to do that, and once that's done, you can kind of fold or flip your work, and then it's just remaining for us to also connect the bottom of the arm panels as well as sides of the front and back panels, and that of course has to be done on both sides as well. So to connect these panels together, I will be using my crochet hook and we will be doing slip stitches. So very similar as we have been doing throughout making these granny squares. However, if you wish, you're more than welcome to use different method for connecting these parts together, such as just using your darning needle or sewing needle and just sewing them together. However, in this pattern or this tutorial, I will just teach you the slip stitch method. And for that, we just have to grab our yarn that we are using throughout this project, and since here I have this blue color, I will also make sure that I'm using the same color of yarn to make sure that the connection points are not visible. And I will be starting here from this side here in this corner, and I will be connecting these 2 panels together here like that. And first we just have to make sure that both panels are facing with inside out. So here is the inside part of on this side and inside part also on the other side. So basically the right side is facing inwards, at least for this connection method. And then our next step is to attach yarn. So I'm just going through here in this corner and attaching yarn in the very middle of this corner. At least that's what I have to do in this specific case. And I'm just going through the middle chain of both of these panels. So also making sure that I'm attaching yarn in the exactly same spot on both panels. And then I'm just pulling it through and tying a secure knot to make sure that this yarn is not going to unravel. So here I have it attached, and then we can proceed further with actually doing slip stitches. So first I'm just going through this space with my crochet hook, grabbing yarn to kind of pull up a loop. So I'm just grabbing it and then pulling through to kind of have loop on our hook, and then just chaining 1 to kind of get started. And then we can proceed with doing slip stitches. So the same thing that we had before, we just have to go through each stitch on each panel. And here in this case I have the following chain, so I'm going through this chain here and then also through the same chain on the other panel like that, and then grabbing my yarn and pulling it through, and then pulling it through the loop that I have on my hook like that. So that's the first slip stitch, and then we are proceeding with this next stitch. So going through the stitch on this panel and then going through the stitch on the other panel, making sure it's the same stitch, then grabbing yarn and pulling it through both stitches, and then also pulling it through the loop that we had like that. And that is the whole process that we have to do for connecting these panels together. So just going through the stitches and chains and connecting them with slip stitches, and making sure that we are connecting in the exactly same spot on both sides to make sure that it looks equal and even once we have finalized this sweater. So here I have connected these 2 parts together and this is how it looks. And now I can fasten off. So for that, again, it's very similar. We just have to chain one, then make the loop a little bit longer, then we can grab our scissors and cut off yarn. And as it's cut off, we can just tighten by pulling this loose piece of yarn here, like that. So this is how you can connect panels together. So just proceed with doing that wherever it's needed for this sweater. And then once you have connected all the parts together, as the last step, we just have to weave in all the loose ends. So again, with your project being turned inside out, you basically just have to hide all of these loose ends that we have here. And for that as well, I'm normally just using my crochet hook. So, but if you wish, you can also use a darning needle or whatever is the most comfortable for you. And basically the process is that I'm going through random stitches in the back, and the process basically is that I'm weaving this loose end inside the stitches in the back so I can hide it and it's not visible for anyone and it's not hanging. And we are also making sure that this project is beautiful and neat also from the inside. So just proceed with doing that for all the loose ends that you have, and once that's done, we are also done with this project. And then once that's done, you can turn this project with the right side facing outwards, and this is how it looks on me. As you can see, it's very simple, but at the same time very cute look. You can easily customize this sweater by mixing and matching different colors, and you can also easily adjust the sizing just by making the granny squares bigger, or if you wish, you can even now add some more rounds for the bottom part of the sweater as well as for the arms to make them longer. So that is basically it from me today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this tutorial was useful for you and that I have inspired you to create some big granny squares and make them into a sweater. If you do manage to recreate this project, then just feel free to share it with me. I would be super happy to see your creations. And besides that, if you have any tutorial or pattern requests, then just feel free to reach out and I will try to add that to my to-do list. But if you did enjoy this video, then just please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye!